to see you. Here we are celebrating the coming of spring in Southern Africa because the cold weather is leaving us and the warm weather is here. And with that, we expect a lot of new growth because spring is a time known for growth. So we are expecting wonderful things to happen in our business in this month. I hope you had a good month in August and that you reached your goals. And whether you reach your goals or not, we start September and we have yet another opportunity to set goals and to work towards achieving those goals. So today my plan is to tackle, we had a fair number of questions. So I thought instead of starting on a new topic, we could look at those questions and possibly next time then we'll go to the topic I had in mind. The first question I think is from someone who had been asking about sinusitis for a while. Unfortunately, for some reason, we kept on missing answering the question. So I today wanted to start with speaking about sinusitis. As you might know, sinusitis usually is the inflammation of the air spaces that are on either sides of our noses, within our faces, and also in our forehead. When they are working correctly, then our breathing system is very clear. But when they become inflamed or swollen, then we feel blocked, and sometimes there might be headaches and so on. So the sinusitis can be as a result of a bacterial or viral infection, or it can be as a result of allergies. So for that reason, I would recommend that if you have someone with sinusitis, to find out if they have been to the doctor to maybe get treatment. If it's a case of a bacterial infection, then it means they need to see the doctor, possibly to get antibiotics. If on the other hand, it's as a result of allergies, then it's good to suggest that they try to identify which allergens they have that can be triggering the sinusitis. It could be dust in the house. It could be like for us here, when it is springtime and there are lots of flowers, then it can be that the pollen is causing that reaction and swelling and irritating the sinuses. So the next step, of course, is to suggest our Neolife products, which we also have that can help them. And the products that we recommend for sinusitis are herbal respiratory complex, which usually balances our respiratory system. And then, of course, omega-3 salmon oil that reduces the inflammation or the irritation in the sinuses, and either vitamin C or flavonoid complex. I don't know if we are still having this, the problem with vitamin C in our markets, but as I said, our flavonoid complex also contains some vitamin C. So if you're struggling to get vitamin C, flavonoids can also play the role for now. Then the next question was about someone who had had a back operation and some of the discs had been removed and some were fused. And for that, of course, we remember last time we talked about the importance of moving and how dangerous is sitting. If you have back problems, then it is doubly important that you don't spend long periods sitting down. You should try to get opportunities to stand and walk around, so that you are not fixed in that position of sitting, which can be problematic. On top of that, then we recommend that they use Pro-Vitality, which will help them in repairing themselves after the operation, and also full motion to help the body to rebuild the cartilages that might have been disintegrated as a result of the back problems. Another thing that can help is physiotherapy to exercise the back, because of course, if it's a person who has had such an extensive back operation, they need help to get back into moving correctly without causing further problems. And so physiotherapy can help. So for there, we recommend Pro-Vitality and full motion. Avoid sitting for prolonged periods, and also you can look into physiotherapy, because the physiotherapist would be able to recommend some exercises to help them return to good movement. Then the next question was about PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And this one is one, I think we have talked about this condition before, when we were talking about reproductive health, and we saw that some of the conditions that reduce the fertility of women, one of them was PCOS. So it is associated with reduced fertility. And I also wanted to point out that it is often linked to diabetes or pre-diabetes. So if you have someone who has got PCOS, it is good to recommend for them, if they don't already know that they have diabetes, for them to have themselves checked for their blood sugars and how their body is metabolizing sugars. And of course, for that reason, because of that link with diabetes, we recommend that someone who has got PCOS should eliminate sugar and refined carbohydrates and other processed foods from their diet, so that they go back to a more wholesome diet. And then from the Neolife supplement side, we recommend herbal feminine complex to help with their reproductive, the ladies' reproductive hormones, and then botanical balance to help with the sugar metabolism, and then Pro-Vitality generally to help them to get to better health. So those are the three that we recommend: herbal feminine complex, botanical balance, and Pro-Vitality for PCOS, as well as recommending that they check if their blood sugar metabolism is okay, and to eliminate sugar and refined carbs, as well as processed foods. Then the next question was about ulcers and also ulcerative colitis, which are two linked conditions where the gut, the lining of the gut has got wounds on it or ulcers on it. And this condition, again, can be linked to certain foods to which the body has become intolerant. For example, some may be intolerant of dairy, some might be intolerant of wheat and processed goods, and some may find that very high fiber foods might exacerbate the problem, and some also can be overusing sodas and sweetened drinks, which could be aggravating the ulcers, as well as chili and such like things that can aggravate the problems with the gut. So we can recommend that they look at some of the foods that can exacerbate the problem, and make a habit, instead of drinking sugary and fizzy drinks, to drink plenty of water instead, and to use plenty of fruits and vegetables, but the vegetables should be at least slightly cooked to make them easier to digest. Then they can eliminate at least things like excessive spices, particularly chilies, which might be more aggravating. Then from the product side, we would recommend that they have zinc, which we know already from many times that I've repeated. Zinc helps to heal internal wounds. And then the next one we recommend is aloe vera plus, which helps to soothe the system, the digestive system. And acidophilus, for those of you who have it in your market, can be useful here to balance the gut bacteria, the good bacteria in the gut. And also Calmag is helpful. So if you do not have acidophilus, then maybe we can recommend Calmag in its place. The next question was about autism in a child. And here, once again, we find that there has been some link between autism and some of the problem foods. So the parents may try to eliminate some of the foods that can be triggering some of the autistic outbursts. For example, they may try to eliminate dairy, wheat, and any other food that they notice causes the symptoms to get worse. And then from the supplement side, we recommend that they use coenzyme Q10, omega-3 salmon oil, multimineral, as well as Beta-Guard, because sometimes the autistic person may struggle to remove toxins from their system, and the toxins accumulate. So we use Beta-Guard, will help in the elimination of toxins, as well as multimineral. And those of you who have it in your market, you can also have acidophilus, because sometimes they can find that their gut bacteria has been compromised. So that is for autism. And then the next one was about someone who is suffering from sharp pain in the feet in the morning. I think it was in the feet. And what we can recommend there is sometimes it can be as a result of inflammation of some of the muscles and tendons in the foot. So what they can do, some people have found useful, is to roll a tennis ball under their feet before they go to bed to stretch and relax the foot. So if you have a small ball, just to step on it and roll it on the sole of the feet. So you put it under the foot and you roll it about to help that those muscles relax. And at the same time, we recommend that they use 3NN, omega-3 salmon oil, and CalMag. So that will help with the problem of sharp pain of the feet in the morning. So the stretching. Also, if this person spends a lot of time on their feet or walking, they can check to see if their shoes are supportive enough. If not, they can try to get shoes that are, can absorb shock, or like buy an insole to put in the shoe so that it absorbs some of the shock as they walk or run. Then the next question was about H. pylori, which is also linked to the ulcers, because this is the bacteria that is normally linked to ulcers. So the problem will be the same. And here again, we recommend that the person should see a doctor, because they will then be given antibiotics to fight the bacteria, this H. pylori. And in addition to that, they should avoid taking painkillers on an empty stomach, because it tends to compromise the gut. This also is relevant to the ulcers and ulcerative colitis. And they should also avoid chili. And on the Neolife side, we can recommend that they use zinc, CalMag, and acidophilus. And once again, of course, aloe vera plus will be useful for soothing the gut. So that is H. pylori, which I just want to say is also the same thing as the question I spoke about on ulcers. And then the next was about someone who had bladder surgery. And here, once again, if it's a recent surgery, of course, they need to be working hand in hand with the surgeon to give permission whether they can go back to normal activities. And if there is no problem on that side, then we can recommend that they use chelated zinc to help them heal from the surgery, together with vitamin C and omega-3 salmon oil. Again, as I said, because of the current problems we are having with vitamin C, we can use the alternative of flavonoid, which has a certain amount of vitamin C, if you still don't have it in your market. And so that is the bladder surgery. Again, of course, plenty of water to keep the system well flushed. And then the next question was about fibroids. I think this is a question that we have quite frequently. And just to say that fibroids tend to be fairly common with women of African origin. So it's something that we might come across often. And it's usually one of the things that are related to maybe toxins in our environment, or using plastics in the microwave has also been linked to fibroids, as well as certain viral infections have also been linked to fibroids. So it could be one of those. But what we recommend is to avoid microwaving food in plastic containers. It's better to use glass or ceramic plates to warm the food. And also to avoid environmental toxins. So that might be things which are in your environment or things which have been added to your food. And also to minimize or eliminate sugar and processed foods, which tend to worsen these conditions. And from the Neolife supplement side, in order to help to shrink the fibroids, we recommend Herbal Feminine Complex, Cruciferous Plus, and Betagard. Okay. Then The next question was about body odor, bad smell coming from the body, which is related to a substance called trimethylamine. And this tends to be a genetic condition in which the body is not able to get rid of this substance, and the substance accumulates and causes the bad smell. So one of the things to recommend for this person is that to take note of the foods which worsen the body smell. So some foods that can make it worse is milk, beans, eggs, and seafood. And of course, they should take extra care of their personal hygiene. I remember the week before last, we talked about the personal care products. So they should make good use of the personal care, because if the sweat accumulates and so on, then the smell, of course, will become worse. If they have certain foods that make the smell worse and they keep on using it, of course, then it worsens the problem. But from the Neolife side, we can also recommend that they use supplements that will help them to detox, one of which is multimineral, as well as stage 6 and acidophilus. Now, stage 6 is to say they should not use it continuously. They should use it on and off, especially when they feel that they need to eliminate, that the elimination system is not working very well. Like, for example, they're not going for long calls often. Then they can use it, and then they take a break every now and then. So stage 6 is not supposed to be used continuously. It should be on and off. Okay, of course, they can also make sure that they have the things to help mask the smell, because unfortunately there is no real cure for this. So they can get something that like perfume or deodorants that help to reduce this. Then there was another question which was not very clear. It said that there is sudden total hearing loss, and I was not sure, so I was just going to say to whoever asked the question that certain medications like antibiotics and so on can be the cause of the hearing loss. So maybe if they have been under medication of certain types, they should check with their doctors if that is what is causing the hearing loss. And if so, they should seek treatment from the doctor as early as possible, because the earlier the treatment, the more likely it is to save the hearing from being lost completely. And then from our Neolife side, we can recommend that they use coenzyme Q10, omega-3 salmon oil, and zinc. Okay, so that is for the total hearing loss, but the person did not indicate what was the cause. So if the cause is maybe someone was under medication, then they can follow up with their doctor. Then another question which I don't really think I have an answer. Someone said they are getting shocked by a cell phone, that shock from a cell phone. So the only thing I could find there is to avoid using the cell phone while it is charging, and also to check the cables of the charging cables of the phone in case there is some power leakage from it. Otherwise, for supplements, I'm not aware, maybe someone has an answer about what to do about this, but I would recommend maybe to check if the cell phone is faulty or the cables are faulty or something like that. Then the final question I have is someone asked, what is the duration for taking the supplements? Should they be taken for the rest of our lives? And here again, I want just to remind the person who has the question that our supplements are concentrated foods whose job is to ensure that we are able to get all that we need from our diet. And so the supplements, we can think of them as a bridge to get us from where we are to where we need to be. So the duration of taking the supplements will, of course, also depend on why you are taking the supplements. If it is a condition that you have had for a while and that will take long to resolve, then it means that the person should take the supplements for a while. If, on the other hand, it's a person who is in good health and simply wants to take the supplement to make sure that their body is adequately provided for, then I would say that you can take them on and off depending on your budget, that you can take them, especially during, let's say, for example, in the flu season, you may need to take some of the supplements that help your body to fight against flu. maybe during when you're traveling, you might need to take some supplements, or if you're undergoing a stressful time and so on. So it's very dependent on the reason why the supplements are being taken. But just to remember that the supplements are concentrated foodstuffs, and that they are a bridge to help us with reaching where we should be. And that is why whenever we are recommending products, we also recommend ways in which you can improve your lifestyle, so that your lifestyle itself is one that is supporting good health. Because the supplements cannot, let's say you want to have a good health, but you continue smoking. Even if you take vitamin C and all the things, and B and all the things we recommend for helping you to stop smoking, if the person continues to smoke, then of course it means we are giving with one hand and taking away with the other, which means that we don't make any progress. So to think of the supplements as something to help us to get where we want, but we also learn how we can change our lifestyle, because as you know, most of the illnesses that we talk about are to do with lifestyle. Most of them are not, a few of them may be linked to infections, but most of them are to do with certain things in our lifestyle that is causing problems. And so for that reason, the supplements help us, but we also need to help them to work better by having a lifestyle that supports good health. And that is why for the next few sessions, we'll be having sessions about how to improve our lifestyle. We've already spoken about taking care of our skins, and the last time we talked about movement. And I think since I'm finishing now, also to tell you that next time we'll go on the same line. I think we shall be talking about rest and recovery, and after that we'll also talk about diet and so on. So we'll continue with this, so that apart from the supplements, we also have a lifestyle that supports our good health, so that the supplements help us to bridge the gap, but we also are working with the supplements, not against the supplements. So those are the questions I received from last time. As I say, I've been saying to you, if you have a question that you urgently need answered, I think Paul has got the contacts to which you can send the question if you can't wait until next week. But for today, those are the questions that I have. And I thank you very much for your attention. And I hope that the new month is going to bring new challenges as well as new victories. Well done for your hard work so far. And let's keep on making the world a happier and healthier place. What happened?
Somebody shared. Good evening, everybody.
Let's leave
it on. Thank you very much for, I think that was a wonderful session. If you're in a big venue, you'd all you'd clap as if you're clapping for yourself. So I want to thank Betty very much for that session. The session I would like to go through now is a session that I think everybody in this business faces, and that is how to overcome discouragement. If you can hear me, anybody who has felt discouraged at one point of their business, raise your hand. I can see almost everybody who is on screen is raising their hand. So I think this is a very common problem with everybody, that we all face challenges of discouragement, either our friends, our relatives, sometimes our own self-doubt really takes us in a bad direction. Sometimes you almost feel like, is this business worth it? But I want to tell you that everything that you do in the business is worth it. Let me just share the screen with you. One moment, please, before I put the... Okay, so there are two things I'd like us to discuss today. The first is how to get involved in income-producing activities. The second is how to overcome discouragement and self-doubt. But something that Paul mentioned, I think is very critical, is the 90-day challenge. We started a 90-day challenge, I think 3 months ago, to have ended in August. And if you look at the statistics or the results, you'll find that quite a number of people have taken steps, either to be directors, to be senior managers, to be 1 Ruby. Some have taken the step to 2 Ruby directors. Some have taken their first step or second step to 5 Ruby. So this 90-day challenge, I think, is very effective for building our business. So let me go to some of the things that I would like us to talk about. And this is income producing activity. The only thing that the company pays us is moving products. The company pays us for nothing else but moving products. If we are not moving products, we earn nothing from the company or from the business. So what is it that we must do to move products? As we know, the first thing we need to do to move products is use the products ourselves. We go and purchase products from the company and use it in our own homes. The next thing we need to do is retail products to our customers. Because our customers are not registered, they have to buy products from us and we make a small profit. And the third way to move products is build a team. Those are the only ways that we actually get paid by the company, nothing else. The company doesn't pay us from going on Facebook to exchange information. Although we use Facebook very aggressively to speak to prospects, but going on social media, reading newspapers, talking to friends does not bring any money to your pocket unless that friend is a potential customer or a potential distributor. Now, I'd like to discuss four things that you need to keep in your mind to actually get involved in income producing activities. The first, I'm sure all of you have heard the word time management. If you go to a lot of trainings, a lot of management courses, if you go to personal development courses, a lot of trainers and people speak about time management. But the thing is, you cannot control time, because even if you wanted to increase your day by 0.25%, 0.25 seconds, you cannot increase your day by any amount of time. So time goes on whether you like it or not. Whether you use it effectively or waste it, time still marches on. We can do nothing about time. The only thing we can do something about is what we do. That means we need to learn how to schedule a day so that we become productive. What is being productive? That we can actually see results. For example, if you're very ambitious and your goal is to earn $100,000 a month, and you're working for 6 hours a day for 22 days a month, each hour of your time is worth $758. Think about it. If your goal is to earn $10,000 per month, and you're working for 22 days in a month, and you work for 1 hour per day, each hour that you work, you work for 2 hours a day, each hour that you work or don't work, you are losing $227. You see, there is no way you can value your time unless you put something to measure it. And one of the ways is to set a goal of the amount of money you want to earn. You work 22 days a week, in a month, and divide that by the number of hours you work per day. It will give you an idea of the amount of money you're wasting or throwing away because you're not doing income producing activities. But the other thing about our business is this. I'm sure all of you, wherever you are, if you're in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, in South Africa, Nigeria, wherever you are, you have seen this device that is on the screen on the left-hand side. It's called a thermometer. If you're going to a supermarket, if you're going to an office, they put it either on your forehead or on your wrist or on your neck to measure your body temperature. But you see, in our business, we don't have a device called a business builder device. You don't have a device that you can put on the forehead of a prospect and say, okay, this one is a business builder, this one is not a business builder. If such a device existed, probably all the millionaires have bought it and it's no longer in the shops, or they have stopped producing it anymore. We don't have a device like that. We don't have something to measure somebody or a prospect and say, okay, this prospect I think is going to a business builder. The only way you're going to get business builders is talk to people. So if you want your time to be useful, if you want your time to be involved in income producing activities, I want to recommend the following. What are the income producing activities? Income producing activities is number one, talking to your prospects. That is the people you want to personally sponsor. Number two, talking to your team's prospect, because the company will pay you big dollars if you help the people you get into the business also sponsor others. The third income producing activity is follow up on prospects. That is your own prospects and the prospects of your team. And the fourth income producing activity is talk to your customers, either about new products or about the questions they have, or giving them information about new products. If you're not involved in these activities in the day during your building time, you are not doing anything. You know, I subscribe to one of the top producers in the world called Brian Carruthers. And yesterday he sent an email and he said, during this COVID time, where a lot of people are at home or have lost jobs, if your business is not growing, it's your fault. I found that so direct to the heart and to the mind, and it got me thinking that actually if my business is not growing, it's my fault. Why? Because there are so many people searching for a business, and because I'm not talking to anybody, the business is not growing, okay? So the income producing activities is very simple, talking to prospects, talking to customers, and answering their questions. I propose a 25% rule. What is the 25% rule? Spend 25% prospecting for yourself. Spend another 25% prospecting for your team. Spend another 25% following up on your prospects and the prospects of your team, and another 25% talking to your customers. And the reason you do this, because these are the only activities that brings income to your business. That is, it makes prospects and customers aware of our product and they make a decision to buy. These are the income producing activities. If you're not getting involved in like these activities, this is just busy work. And busy work does not give you any money. But there are other support activities that you need to do to make sure that your income producing activities occur. For example, reading books every day, learning about the products, for example, attending this training. Some of the events and tools that you need to do your income producing activities effectively is, for example, doing a one-on-one presentations, inviting your prospects to Zoom. But I also recommend, if you're a distributor, do not miss the Zoom meetings, whether you have a guest or not. And the reason for that, as you learn in the next session, is that all of us face discouragement. All of us will get our friends, our relatives who will try to discourage you from the business, and it affects your attitude. When you come to the Zoom meetings, you get recharged and you see the value of the business. So attend all the Zoom meetings, attend conference calls. What are conference calls? Conference calls is a call arranged by your upline leader who has a growing business, just to share some information or motivation about the business. Sending videos to your prospects, these are some of the tools you use. Attending webinars, attending business opportunity presentations like the one we have on Mondays or on Friday evenings or on Sunday afternoon. All these are events and tools to help our business grow. And then sharing magazines with our prospects. These are actually the income producing activities and events. If you're not getting involved in these activities, think again. But the thing I would like to recommend to you is this. Apart from listening to the session that we're having today before you sleep, take a pen or your diary or a paper and look at the last 3 days. What have you been doing since you woke up until you went to bed? Were you getting involved in income producing activities, or were you getting involved in busy work that does not produce income at all? So check, do an audit. From the time you wake up, from the time you go to sleep, what have you done every single hour? I know sometimes you spend time with your family members. You spend time, if you still have a job, you spend time at your employer's place working. And please, during your employer's time, don't do the business. Spend that time and work for your employer, because your employer is paying you a salary. okay? Do the business outside your working hours. You spend some time traveling, you spend some time eating, you spend some time resting, you spend some time taking children to and from school, or if you are doing homeschooling, you spend some time with the children. Write down every hour what you're doing, then check actually if you're involved in income producing activities. If you're not involved, then you know why your business is not growing, okay? Then the next thing is this. Why don't you get involved in income producing activities? I think most people don't get involved in income producing activities because we allow ourselves, we become careless about what we allow in our mind. You know, when I was thinking about this topic, I was listening to an audio book. It's a biography of a man called David Goggins. He's a Navy SEAL. And one of the things we're talking about is strengthening your mind. You need to be careful about what you let go in your minds. If the following occupy your mind: news, negative friends, challenges, if these are the things that occupy your mind most of the time, income producing activities, affirmations, you don't pay attention to them because these are the things that actually inoculate your mind from feeling negative. So reduce the number of, do the opposite. If you want to master your mind, make sure that the following things are constantly in your mind. Develop a dream chart that you look at every day. Number two, you need to have a list of the things you've done successfully in the past. David Goggins calls them the cookie jar. What is that? It means you need to recall to mind the things that you have done successfully in the past. Why? Because it reinforces a positive attitude. Then you need to get involved in income producing activities, because if you get involved in income producing activities, then you'll start to see positive results, which reinforces your positive attitude. Then you need to get involved in affirmations, okay? Affirmations or self-talk. That is, you repeat to yourself positive statements about yourself and your future. These are the things that needs to occupy your mind. And when you do that, you're actually creating a shield between negative people, news, and challenges that actually put you down. If you get involved in this, it's a very simple thing. But you see, we've got something in our mind. I remember there was a time in Kenya where the government introduced speed governors for vehicles or public vehicles. And the speed governors were meant to regulate the speed of the car so that the cars do not move beyond 80 kilometers per hour. You see, our mind also have governors. And these governors in our minds are the fears we have, the negative people who speak in our lives, the challenges that we pay attention to. I'm not saying there are no challenges in life. There are challenges in life. But if you pay attention to your challenges, you'll find that you're unable to actually develop a positive attitude. Okay? So my suggestion is, if you want to inoculate yourself from negative thinking people, news is always very negative. I don't know any country that news is always positive. News is very negative. Why? Because negative information sells. Okay? Challenges are there, but you can manage them if you focus on your dreams, if you focus on your past challenges. If you speak to a prospect and they say no, think about the last prospect that said yes. Or if no prospect has said yes to you yet, know that if every no leads you to a yes. All right? So think about the past success that you've had. Either you convinced a customer to buy products, or you sponsored one new person, or you made a step in the business. Think about these past successes, because that is the things that will help you move through these challenges. And then affirmations. Affirmations is repeating statements in the positive sense so that you can have a positive mind. Okay? So those are the few things that you can actually use to master your mind. The other thing I want to recommend is the capacity to stop and think what's going on in your mind. I remember the other day we brought some people to cut some trees next to our house. They cut the trees, but they left a small portion. So when we were starting to negotiate with them to finish what they came to do, they quoted for me a very ridiculous price, and I asked them to leave. And I became quite upset. But during the process, I began to ask myself, why am I really why am I upset with this guy? He doesn't want to do the work. He's asking for more money. And then I realized that you're feeling down. When you find something disappointing, stop, calm yourself down, and actually ask yourself questions. Why am I feeling the way I am feeling? Is it worth it? And when you start doing that, you will find that you begin to take control of your mind, because you remember that your brain is designed to keep you safe. Why is that? Because your brain is designed to make sure that something bad doesn't happen to you. And the way the brain does that is to try and maintain status. That is why change is not easy for most people, okay? Before I go to the last session, I want to hand over back to Paul and see if there are any specific questions that people have that we can answer. Paul?
Thank you so much, Pascal. That was an amazing session. I'm sure everybody who's on this call, you're learning something or two that you can be able to use to continue to build your business. So I'm looking at the chat session to see how many questions we have. I don't know whether Pascal and Betty, you can pick one. I'm just trying to look.
Okay, let me see.
I know there are people asking quite a number of, let me just pick one here.
Somebody is asking, continuous severe cough. The cough is productive. The doctor are unable to find out what the problem is. Okay.
There's also someone who is asking, what can we give to a 21-year-old lady to use who has eczema? So that is a question I've just picked right now.
Okay, that was Mabel Nachaki.
Yes.
I think from my knowledge, eczema is an immune reaction to something in our body, and it comes out through our skin. So one of the things we need to identify is if you're allergic to something, either pollen or there is toxin in our body or whatever it is. Find out if there is something they're allergic to. If they do, the first thing is to eliminate it from our diet or from our surrounding. And then the products I would recommend for eczema is, number one, is carotenoid complex. Two, vitamin C, because both of them are antioxidants and immune boosters. And then number three, we can use aloe vera gel on the outside if the eczema is showing on the skin. Those are the three products I would recommend. Somebody is asking, yes.
There is also somebody is asking, what product do you recommend for someone who is bedwetting? I thought that's an adult at adult stage. So what products can you recommend for such kind of person? Bedwetting.
Yeah, bedwetting I think is a very complicated situation. And from the little I know, there is some psychological challenge that they have. They need to check their family situation. If there is trauma that has happened, or if there has been abuse in the family, or something that really bothers them psychologically, because bedwetting is something physiological and is also linked to the functioning of the mind. So I would suggest, first of all, find out what's going on in the family, what's going in the mind of that person. Are they going through very difficult challenges? Has there been something in the past that is unresolved? So that is the first thing I would recommend. About the products, I'm not sure which products to recommend, but for the overall, I would recommend anybody who wants a nutrition program, ProVitality is a very good overall product for balanced nutrition. Okay.
Right. I think you have been able to cover the one for Angela, which is asking what supplements for someone who is having continuous severe cough. The cough is productive. The doctors are unable to find out what the problem is.
The cough is productive. I'm not sure what that means.
I think it means probably when they cough, they can they can produce something. It's not dry cough.
Yeah. All right. Let me leave that question to the experts. Please, Paul, send all these questions to Betty. She will look at them and pick it up next time. Or if some of the situations are very urgent, whoever sends the question needs to leave their contact so that Betty can find out the answer and send it to them.
Perfect. I'll be able to send all the questions to you and Betty so that we can be able to get most of the answers by next week. So probably you can continue and finish the session for us tonight.
Okay. All right. I think the last part of this session is, let me say where I had reached. The last part of this session is how to build your confidence. How do you build self-confidence? Because one of the things that afflicts us in the business and in life is self-doubt. Self-doubt and self-confidence cannot exist in your mind at the same time. Why does self-doubt come? Self-doubt comes when we think that we cannot do what others are doing, or we cannot be successful in the business. So what you need to do is you need to build a program to build your self-confidence. How do you build self-confidence? Self-confidence comes from having knowledge about the business and about the products. Because one of the reasons, you see, from my reading, one of the most things that people fear is speaking in front of others. Public speaking, when they asked a question to 3,000 people, public speaking was 41% as one of the things that people fear the most. Second is death with 19%. So public speaking is not easy for people. And how do you build your self-confidence? Improve your business knowledge and your product knowledge. The other thing you need to do is know the compensation plan inside and outside. Everybody who starts a business gets a copy of the compensation plan. Read through it. Know what a manager is, senior manager, director, emerald, ruby, diamond. How does somebody get to be a diamond director? How does somebody get to be a ruby? What is a network development bonus? What is leadership development bonus? You need to know these terms well, because you will find somebody who will ask you these questions. And when you're ready with the knowledge, you can adequately answer the question. And then master the getting started document. In your kit, there's a document called Getting Started. Read it from cover to cover, not just once, twice, but a number of times, so that you know what is required of you to build your business. And then I cannot overemphasize the reading of books daily. Read daily. Think and Grow Rich, The Magic of Thinking Big. These are excellent books for you to read. You know, when I started the business, almost every month I used to buy a book. So I've built a library of so many books. But one day it struck me that I have read probably a third or a half of those books, but very few of them have I mastered. So I decided there's a few books I'm going to choose, about 10 books, read these books over and over and over again until I master the principles of the book. Think and Grow Rich is one of them. The Magic of Thinking Big is another one. How to Become a Professional Network Marketer by Eric Worre is another one. How to Win Friends and Influence People. These are the books I read over and over again until I master the principles in the book. For example, if you ask me chapter 8 of Think and Grow Rich, it is the chapter on decisions. The second book in how to program yourself by affirmations. So select a book, read that book daily, at least 15 minutes. If you do the following, they're going to help build your confidence. And to wind up, I'd like to tell you a story about a young man, a young boy who was very fascinated about football. and he was rather small and skinny, and he used to attend this training sessions every Saturday. Every day of the week he would attend training, but because he wasn't very good, the coach did not put him to play. So one day he went to the coach and told him that his father had died and he was not going to attend practice. So he asked the coach, "Coach, can I take a few days off because my father died?" He said, "No, no problem." And the coach, in fact, was very sympathetic to him and told him, "You don't even need to come for the next Saturday's quarterfinals. Just stay at home and attend to the funeral." But when Saturday arrived, the young man came to the match, and their team was trailing by halftime. And when the coach saw him, he was very surprised and asked him, "But John, I told you that you don't need to come." He said, "No, it's okay. I actually would like to play." But the coach was not keen on letting him play. So he begged the coach, and eventually the coach reluctantly allowed him to enter. And this boy played so well, in fact, scored 2 goals that helped his team to win. And he was the best player of that match. And after the match, the coach went to him and told him, "John, what happened to you? During training, you're very poor. When you play, you don't show any skill. But now you've become the best player in the team." So he said, "Every training I attended, my father attended. But you see, my father is blind. So every time that I came for practice, he thought I was playing. But today is the first time that my father actually watched me play, and I did not want to let him down." The message to you is this: your business is waiting for you to do your best. You see, whether you practice, whether you do the business or not, the business is waiting for you to do those income producing activities. And when you get involved in those income producing activities, you'll be like the boy who wants to play his best because the business is now paying attention. So I wish all of you the very best. I am looking forward to the convention on the 20th of September. I think that's the date that Paul said, so that some of the people who've attended to their 90-day challenge and have actually achieved their goals are going to go on stage to be recognized. So I want to thank you very much and make September count. So Paul, back to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Pascal. Once again, indeed, we are very grateful for your time and Betty being with us tonight and giving us such a wonderful training. I'm sure, and I can see from the comments that people have really benefited, and income generating activities is everything about this business, and everybody who is listening to us today, they want to make money. And Pascal, I'm always very happy to hear our distributors say they started and they made money more than they can be able to use. So everybody who's on this call, I wish you all the best as you continue to engage in the income generating activities to the extent you'll be able to make more money than you can be able to use. So thank you so much for joining us today. And as Pascal has been able to tell you that on 20th of September, just a few days from now, we are going to have a great convention. It's going to be a unique one because we don't want to look at this year and look at it as a wasted year. It is not a wasted year. It is a year that has given us a lot of lessons. And one of the lessons is we can continue to do our business regardless of what kind of challenges we are going through. So we're going to have our convention, and it's going to be exactly the way our convention normally takes place. The top 10 incentive winners are going to be announced. They're going to get their prizes, their trophies. So Kenya and Uganda, they're going to be virtual, and Tanzania is going to be physical. So it will be quite an exciting time, and we are looking forward to everybody, being on that call and getting us to celebrate the activities of what has been able to happen in the year 2020. So from me, Pascal and Betty, would like to thank you and wish you all the best once again through the month of September. Go out, put the things that we have learned today into practice, do more research, do more activities that will be able to cause your business to continue to grow. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and let's meet tomorrow. We have our Swahili presentation. Don't miss. If you can be able to listen to Swahili and make sense out of it. See you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank
All
you,
right,
Pascal.
bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.